So this is our last day on Rangali Island. We leave, our seaplane takes off at 4 o'clock this afternoon. But before we go, we wanted to give you a brief tour of some of the amenities on the island. And if you'll look over there, we'll start with probably one of the most opulent villas in the Maldives. That is the Maraca, I think is how it's pronounced. And it is the first underwater residence in the Maldives ever built. So that entire structure out there is the villa. I think it sleeps 6 people, 8 people. But there is also a basement down to an underwater room where you sleep underwater. It's, I believe, $19,000 a night. So we will not be giving you a review of that room. Let's move on. So just north of here is the House Reef, which is actually a surprisingly good house reef. It's one of the best in the Maldives. The Conrad and the Hilton very much take care of making sure it's sustainable and a good steward of the environment. And there is a channel that cuts out through the coral that you can swim through to get out to the drop-off, the shelf where it drops off down beyond the reef and into the deep water. So just over to my left here, you'll see a long pier that leads out to another island. That island is actually the staff island. That's where all the staff live that work here on the Rangali and Rangali Finalhu Islands. Behind me here is the dive center. This is where you go for your snorkeling gear, your scuba gear, excursions to see the whale sharks, the manta rays, the turtles, the dolphins, etc. And then back right over here in front of me, you'll see 2 structures. The closer one to shore is the Sunset Grill. It's one of the restaurants that you can go to on the island. And then further out is Etha, which is the underwater restaurant, which is also the first underwater restaurant ever built in the Maldives. Behind my right shoulder here is another restaurant, actually one that we did go to. It's called Ufa, U-F-A-A, and it is the Chinese / Asian fusion restaurant that they have here. Food was excellent. The chef is Jeremy Leung, and they do a fantastic dinner there, which is what we had. Over here we have a volleyball court, and then up on that ridge there is the infinity pool, which is sort of on the corner of the island and juts out over the, or looks out over the water. It's absolutely a stunning view. We actually did not stay at the pool at all, but we have walked by multiple times, and it's just an incredible view every single time. Behind me here we have the Atoll Market, which is one of the places you can go for breakfast. We're actually not going there this morning. We're going over to the other island for breakfast, but this is the buffet breakfast, and the food is amazing. They have all types of food, from Indian, Maldivian, American. They have an omelet station, or numerous types of pancakes and waffles, and just an entire walk-in cooler of yogurts and milks and cheeses and meats. It's pretty amazing. Back here we have the Rangali bar, which is actually the first restaurant we ate at the first night we got here. It's more casual food, more like you would expect pub food, but with an island flair, obviously. Just over my left here we have the Water Sports Center. This is where you go to get life vests and also to take out kayaks, paddle boards, catamarans. You can see all the different craft lined up here. All of the non-motorized craft are free of charge to use. The motorized craft, like the wave runners and jet skis, and the boats that you can actually take out as well, do require an extra charge. This boat is basically a water taxi. It takes you back and forth between the 2 islands. And the golf carts are also something you can call to take you back and forth between the islands as well, or around the island if you need to. We're standing here in front of the Welcome Center, the lobby, whatever you want to call it. Basically, your first spot of checking in when you get to the island. They have all different kinds of seating out here. They have ping pong. There are bathrooms in the back. There's a business center inside the lobby there that you can go to. And that's where we'll actually be hanging out waiting for our seaplane this afternoon after we check out of our room at 3 o'clock. It's still early in the morning, so a lot of this stuff isn't open right yet, but right behind me here are the high-end retail shops. And then above that is the gym, the activity center that all the guests can use. Further back around is the Mandalorian? I don't know. Mandu, we'll call it, spa. And there's a restaurant back there as well. And there is an overwater spa back that way. But it's not open yet. And there was also a 24-hour clinic back there as well, which we did avail ourselves of because we needed Dramamine for our boat trip the other day, as well as for the seaplane flight for Jamie, just to make sure. If you look way back over in that direction, you'll see our villa at the very end of the ones jutting out along the water here. The 2 or 3 at the end are the giant family villas. They sleep, I don't know, like 6 or 8 people as well. But we're close to the last one on the strip of villas there that jut off the beach. Here's our friend the heron here. They're all over the island. But this bridge is the bridge that connects the 2 islands. It's 3,200 feet long, and you can either walk across like we're going to do, or you can take a golf cart across. Like I said earlier, the only other way to get across is via the boat right there, the water taxi that will ferry you back and forth. In the middle of the bridge is the seaplane dock. The seaplane lands between the 3 islands and will pull up right against the dock there on the left-hand side. On the right-hand side is the reception center for those that are disembarking or embarking on the plane. When we arrived on the seaplane and disembarked into the lounge, they greeted us with cold cloths, which are common. They do that at every meal. But also a coconut, big coconut full of coconut water. It was really yummy. That's a nice touch. As we cross the bridge back to our island, the adults' island, on the left you'll see the yoga pavilion. There's actually someone out there doing yoga at the moment. And then on the other side here, you'll see on the beach there, the Cocoa Beach Bar. And then right alongside that is the Quiet Zone, which is basically a no kids allowed area for adults to swim, relax, sit out in the sun. There's also an infinity pool where all those people are gathered right now, but that's the other infinity pool that looks back towards the other island. The paths throughout the islands are all extremely well maintained. There are people out here, gardeners at 6 a.m., 6:30 a.m., raking all the leaves. They rake the sand to just make it look nice, put these little marks through it. The whole island is just beautiful. It's very lush, very green, lots of wildlife. We've seen all kinds of birds and lizards, crabs, hermit crabs, the Indian flying foxes or fruit bats, which are huge, by the way. Carry off a small dog. And then we actually haven't explored the whole island, but I think we've explored most of it. So the main restaurant on our island, the adults only island, is called Vilu. It's where they have breakfast in the morning. It's an a la carte menu rather than the buffet that they have on the other island. But they also have dinners, I think 4 or 5 nights of the week. There goes a bird. And then there's also, they have a live lobster tank, and then there is the wine cellar, which is an underground restaurant that you can go down to. It's what they call event dining, which is basically a fixed price dining experience per person. They have several of those around the island, but the wine cellar is one of those where you go down into the actual wine cellar underground. It's floor to ceiling bottles, and it's pretty spectacular. We'll insert a picture here because we did not go. Here are the lobster tanks I was talking about. And let me tell you, those babies were delicious. I had the Maldivian lobster for dinner from Ufa, which was the Asian restaurant that we went to. And it was tempura'd and dry rubbed with Chinese spices, and it was absolutely amazingly delicious. So continuing the tour of our island, the adults island, over here we have the overwater spa, which is pretty stunning, as you can see. Another thing we sadly did not take advantage of, even though I had credits I could have used, Jamie wouldn't let me. Just kidding. And then over here in this building we have the fitness center. This is the fitness center. There we go. This is the fitness center on our island. Not quite as big as the one on the main island, but it's nice that they have it here for people that want to use it, not us. That is the dock where you catch the water taxi across back to the other island. And then just off to the left here we have the Conrad swings, which Jamie loves. He loves to sit on the swing and swing back and forth when he thinks nobody is looking, and then get surprised when a cart drives by. You want to sit and swing? I'm good. Okay. Jamie wanted me to tell you how warm the water is, but that's because he hasn't put his toes in it this morning, because it's not quite as warm as he thinks, but it's still very warm. It's not the bath water that we got into the other day, but it's still pretty warm. But the water is, as you can see, crystal clear. You can see all the way to the bottom, so far out. It's amazing. I don't even mind going in the water here because I can see everything. And everything can see me, and we're all happy. Okay, it's getting warmer by the minute.